Hey guys, I thought I would do an experiment that I thought that would satisfy a lot of us, a lot of the curiosities we have had about insulation. I like Reflectix insulation, which is bubble wrap. A lot of guys say it's worthless. It doesn't help anything. It doesn't have the R value that we need. It's just not a good insulation. A lot of us use just regular duct wrap, R4, R6, R8 duct wrap. So we are going to take my box here. It's a cardboard box. It's been duct taped so there's no air leaks. You know, close to scientific, maybe not exactly scientific, but I'm going to put a temperature sensor into this box. We'll put it on the end, seal it up on the inside, kind of like tape it in place. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator with no insulation, with Reflectix insulation R4, and then maybe an R6 Reflectix where we put the strips on it, and then another layer for R8, and then check it against duct wrap and see which one stacks up with maybe like a few hours. After it reaches a certain temperature inside the refrigerator, we'll take it out. We'll sit it out for an hour maybe. We'll see what temperature it gets up to. We'll see what the difference is. We have temperature regulated in my building to a certain point, so we know it's going to be the same out here and the same in the refrigerator. We can confirm that with the probe, and we'll see which insulation is the best after all. I have the UEI DTH35 in there, 82 degrees. We're gonna put it in my fridge. Let's pan over, past all the other crap here. Over in the fridge there. We'll put it in the refrigerator, let it come down to temperature, then we'll take it out for an hour. Let's go ahead and get it done. I have my stopwatch out. We're gonna check the temperature on this thing. Right at 35 degrees. So we're gonna bring it out and start the stopwatch. We're starting the stopwatch. I'm gonna close this up. So we got down to 35 degrees, which is pretty cold actually. Cold in the refrigerator. We're gonna let it roll and we'll wait 10 minutes. It's sealed up pretty well. That hole's kind of tight right there. I didn't tape it up. So we're gonna give it 10 minutes and log what temperature it's at. Then go to 20 minutes and then 30 and we'll cut it off there. So we'll wait till 10 minutes goes by and we'll write down our temperature. We are passing by the 10-minute mark and our UEI dry bulb temperature is now 72.4. So we'll wait till we get to 20 minutes and we'll check it again, although this one looks like it's going to be up near room temperature by the time that happens. We have just passed 20 minutes and we are now at 76.7 degrees Fahrenheit. So it only rose just a little bit in this time. As we get closer to room temperature, they're starting to slow down. So we'll catch it at 30 minutes and see how it looks, and then we'll move on to the next scenario. Guys, we're passing by 30 minutes now, and we are at 77.0 degrees. So we're going to move on to the Reflectix R4 and see how it does. The box is now covered in R4 Reflectix. It is just a thin, I think it's 5/16. You can see it right there. Just real thin stuff. 77.2 inside the box right now. So it looks like between 77 and 78 is our room temperature right now. We're gonna put the box in there and let it chill down. And then we'll come back with a nice 30-minute test on R4 Reflectix to see how it does. Let's see how we're doing now. Nice slow reaction from the box. 36.8, we'll go ahead and bring her out. We're gonna start the measurement now and we'll catch up in a minute, guys. Guys, we are passing the 10-minute mark with the one layer of Reflectix or R4. And we are at 54 degrees. So I'm gonna record that as 54, which is a big difference between that and no insulation. After 10 minutes with no insulation, we were at 72.4. So we're gonna let it go to the 20-minute mark and we'll see how much higher it gets. We are now passing 20 minutes and we're at 64.2. It looks like I got a friend request on Facebook. Good for me. So we're at 64.2 with our R4 Reflectix compared to a 76.7 with no insulation. So we're ahead of the no insulation, obviously. So we're going to see how this ends up, because by this time with the no insulated box, basically, we were already at room temperature. It was 76.7. Room temperature was right at 77. So essentially we had already gone all the way back up to room temperature. Now we're not, but we're going to see how close we are once we're all done in about 9 minutes. Guys, we're coming up on the end of the test for the one wrap of Reflectix. 10 more seconds left. Let's see if we can make it to 68.9. Let's see if we make it to 69. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and nope. 68.9 at 30 minutes. So that came in almost about 8 degrees cooler, because the other one made it up to room temperature. So now we're up to 69. So what we're going to do next is wrap a spacer on this Reflectix, on this box. Let's pan over here. We'll wrap a spacer on the block like this, maybe 2 of them, something like that, and then wrap another layer around it to sort of simulate. I think that's going to simulate like an R6 or R8 for the Reflectix. We'll see what kind of difference it makes, and then we'll do an R8 duct wrap as well. Alright guys, we're 39 degrees on that one, so it's a little bit warmer than the other ones, but I've been sitting in here all night. So I'm going to go ahead and use it, and we're going to track it that way. Okay guys, I have the double Reflectix box here with a thermometer. We're going to time it to 10 minutes and see where we're at and log it on our sheet. We started out at 39. I'm going to go ahead and log that, and we'll track it from there. We are about to pass 10 minutes, and we have gone up from 39 to 49.6 right here. 49.7, so that's where we're going to stay, 49.7. So definitely the lowest amount of rise with the 2 layers of Reflectix with an air spacer. 49.7. And we'll catch back up with you guys when it reaches 20 minutes. Okay guys, we're coming up on 20 minutes now. We're at 61.3 degrees. And that is the difference between the R4 Reflectix being 64.2 and the no insulation being 76.7, or essentially room temperature at that point. So we'll come back in 10 more minutes and we'll be all done with this particular part of the experiment. We are coming up to 30 minutes now. We are at 68 point, we have 4 seconds left here, so we make it 68.6. We do 68.6 after 30 minutes, which is only slightly lower than the 68.9 on the single layer Reflectix, even though we just started about 2 degrees warmer with the R8 Reflectix. So you can see that it is just slightly better than having that single layer Reflectix. Now we're going to wrap the box in Duct Wrap and try it again. This is our final box wrapping. We have R8 Duct Wrap wrapped beautifully around this thing, looking like some sort of alien football. So we're going to stick it into the refrigerator, cool it down. We're at 79.5 right now. So our indoor ambient has ranged from about 77 to 79 and 79 and a half. So not exactly constant, but pretty close. So we're going to put this in the fridge, and I'm going to chill it down, and we're going to catch up when we start the count again. All right, guys, I have my piece of wrapped up insulation now, and we actually started at 42 degrees. It's been sitting there all night. It's at 42 degrees right now. I'm not quite sure why it's a little bit warmer. If I could think about it and figure it out. But I'm going to start our timer right there. We see 3 seconds, 4 seconds, and we're going to let it roll and see how this one goes up or down, and we'll catch up with you at 10 minutes. Guys, we're passing by around 10 minutes and we are at 46.4. So we're going to log that in. So it didn't raise very much. So it looks like Duct Wrap is in the lead here. Started out at 42, went up to 46.4, same room temperature. So we're going to let it go another 10 minutes and we'll log in the next number at 20 minutes. Guys, we just passed 20 minutes We were at 52.9, so the R8 is definitely winning so far. Just compared to the Reflectix with the double wrap was at 61.3. The single wrap of Reflectix was at 64, and the no insulation box was basically already at room temperature, 76.7. So we can tell the Reflectix does do some insulating, obviously, but it looks like the R8 Duct Wrap is way far ahead. So we're going to come back in around 9 minutes, and we'll see what the final number is. We are just about to pass the final mark at 30 minutes. We are at 57.5. That's our final one. I'm going to record that, 57.5. So much lower than the previous numbers. Both the Reflectix numbers were in the upper 60s whenever we got finished. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put together some graphs. We're going to take a look at how it reacted. I think we can go ahead and say that R8 Duct Wrap did much better. But we'll look at each different configuration, put it on a graph, and let you see it firsthand. Okay, we can see the 4 different lines here. The green line is the box that is not insulated at all. The purple line is the R4 Reflectix. That's just one layer of Reflectix wrapped around the box. The orange line, I have R6 to 8 Reflectix. All it is a layer of Reflectix, our spacer, and another layer of Reflectix. And then we have our darker line, which is like a deep red or a brown color there, is the R8 Duct Wrap. Now the R8 Duct Wrap looks like it wins hands down against the others here. It starts a little bit warmer, it actually ends colder. So we have kind of a really close race between the R4 Reflectix and the additional Reflectix, which is kind of disheartening, which kind of means that if you put the spacer in there and you have the extra layer of Reflectix, it pretty much ended up almost the exact same number. So kind of a lot of labor for no reason, and of course the no insulation kind of topped out really quickly. So I was kind of surprised to see how the 2 layers of Reflectix were. They did offer some insulating value, but nothing compared to the R8 Duct Wrap in my opinion after looking at this chart. These are figures of the temperature rise per minute in each one of our 4 different tests. You see the uninsulated box had 2.1 degrees Fahrenheit per minute. The single layer of Reflectix pretty much cut that in half to 1.07. And you see the double Reflectix with a spacer, which would be much more labor intensive, only decrease that by about 10% over the single layer of Reflectix. So it's kind of just a big surprise there. The fiberglass Duct Wrap, it was way far ahead. It was roughly half of the double layer Reflectix and a single layer Reflectix. It really was sort of in line, whereas a R8 Duct Wrap, it was twice as resistant to heat transfer as a single layer of Reflectix, which is R4. So it makes sense that the R8 was twice what the R4 would have been as far as heat resistance. So that sort of fell right in line where it should be. Other than that, the biggest surprise of the test was that the double layer of Reflectix with the spacer really didn't make much of a difference. What does this mean? Fiberglass Duct Wrap is the best. It's the best insulator. You spend the same amount of time and get twice as much insulating value.